Hi, I'm Marius from MWS Photography, and in today's video we are going to look at the Cactus version 5 wireless flash transceivers. Now this is what the box looks like, and this is the version 5 DO. So inside the box you're going to get two of the transceivers. You can buy them separately as well, but it's better to buy them this way because the more flashes you've got, the more the transceivers you're going to need. Now, when you open the box, the first item you will be greeted with will be a little booklet called When Light, this way around, When Light Dances Too, which is a collection of images taken by the Cactus community. So people who use these triggers, you can have a look at some pictures that were taken with them, and then also your user's manual. Then you're going to get a little bag filled with sync cables, and then batteries. Batteries are included. Usually you don't get batteries of everything, but batteries are included. So the reason you bought this package is obviously for your transceivers, so this is what they look like. This is the version 5. And it's also got a little handy stand that you can put below it that fits to the unit like this. So now if you have maybe flashes on light stands, but you've got some extra ones as well, you can just put them on little stands and put them wherever you want them. Right, so what's the big difference between the version 4 and the version 5? Now I've been using the version 4 for a long time and never had any problems with them. I think if I took 1,000 images and got one misfire, it'll be plenty. So this is a big difference. If you look at them, size definitely is a big difference. Now this is the version 4 transmitter, and this is the version 5 transceiver. And if you don't know what a transmitter and a transceiver is, I will tell you that now. But basically this little guy sends a signal. So I put this on the camera's hot shoe. When I press the shutter button, it sends a signal from the transmitter, from the version 4 transmitter, to the version 4 receiver. Now this is where you get a little bit of a problem, because if you lose this guy, or if it breaks down, or it's just not working properly, then you won't be able to trigger your receivers. You're going to sit with a big problem. Now, with the version 5, this is a transceiver. So on the side, you can see it's got a little off and an RX and a TX button. So TX is to transmit, RX is to receive, and then obviously off is to turn the unit off. So the nice thing is this works as both. So if something happens to one of the units, you just take the next one and turn it onto TX and you've got a transmitter. So it's a very nice feature, it's that way. The only thing that bothers me a little bit is the size. It's a lot bigger, and you're going to see when putting it on a camera, it's a little bit trickier. But you didn't buy the unit just for the design, you bought the unit if it works properly for you or not. And like I said, with the version 4, they worked great. The version 5 so far, I'm very happy, no problems. And so let's look a little bit at the unit itself again. If you look at the top, if you compare the two, you'll see the version 4 has only got a test button. The version 5 has got a test button as well. It's right there, and it's also got a little light indicator. It shows you the version 4 also had a little light indicator right there, so when you're firing it, you can see it's working. But an added feature of the version 5 will be your hot shoe at the top, which is very nice, because if you're working and you've got your external flashes, everything set up, but you want a bit of fill light from the front, with the version 4, you couldn't do anything. You would have to handhold the thing just to get the flash working, but now you've got that extra flash hot shoe right there. The only drawback, it does not relay the TTL functions of the camera. It's working only in manual. So you won't be able to, for instance, have at a venue, have flashes set up to light the venue and then have the flash as a full in the foreground. You can use it for that, but you're going to have to set it manually, which can be a little bit of a problem. If you're walking around and you're far away from people and closer to people, the camera will not be able to assist you, but you can use it as a manual full. And usually when I'm doing off-camera flash, that is what I'm doing. I'm working in full manual most of the time, even on my Pocket Wizard system. Right, so that's the top of it. If you look at the bottom part, you're going to see here it's got a thread here you can put your tripod on, or if you've got a light stand, it's got the fitting there, you can attach it there. The only huge problem here, and a lot of people run into this, is that it's got a very little small area here, and you'll notice here's the I don't know what to call it, the fastener to attach the unit to your camera. So if you turn this, it's going to fasten to the camera. Now this is very close to this screw right here. So if you put it on top of your tripod mount, you might have a problem getting it in there. This will be in the way. So, but I don't really use that often. The workaround for that is to just buy a cold shoe. Attach the cold shoe to the tripod. It's very easy, no problems, and you're not going to run into this. And then you attach this to the cold shoe. So it's not really an issue. There is a workaround for it. Right, and at the bottom you've got your fitting for the hot shoe. So you connect this to your camera like this, and there you go, and just fasten it that way. Now this is also where I'm running into a little problem again. The unit itself works awesomely. I just wish they spent a little bit more time on the design. So if you look here, my finger, it does not allow for a lot of space to get this in here. On this camera, I'm still okay. On my other camera, it was a little bit tighter. So when I'm fastening this, it is a bit tricky to get your fingers in here. But once this is on the camera, you're not going to be removing it every 5 seconds anyway. So it's not really a big issue. You must just get used to how you fasten it in there. It does not allow for a lot of space. Like with the version 4, there was more space. There's just a little bit less space. Right, if you look at the back of the unit, I really like the battery compartment. The battery compartment of the version 4 receivers were horrible. So this is the old one, the version 4s. This thing would continuously pop open. It will just pop off. You'll be removing it from the light stand and there goes your bottom part. So I actually had it taped down on most of my units because it came off. So that was horrible again. They improved that. So at the back, I really enjoy this. If you press it down, it pops out. It's got a little spring-loaded thing. And inside, you're going to get your batteries. Another thing I like, they're not using like your security thingamabobs where you press the button, opens the gates, those 12-volt batteries. It's not using that. It's just using these AAA. So you can go into any store. If your unit is not functioning properly, you'll most probably either have replacements in your camera bag, or you can just run to a store and just go buy some extra batteries. So I'm glad they're not using any weird like CR2 batteries or whatever like they had a few years ago in the version 2s, but they were using CR2 as well. So I'm very happy about that. Then if we look at the side, now here you've got your off, TX and RX. I already mentioned that. You've got your transmit, receive, so you can choose what you want this unit to be, either transmitter or receiver, or you can turn it off. Then you've got a little sync port right there. Now this is very handy because I've already got one here which has got the cable connected. Here I've connected the cable that will allow me to trigger my camera. So I can now put this on here, and then I can connect this to the camera like that, and now I can remotely fire my camera. So with the version 4s, that wasn't supported, so now as far as I know it was not supported. But with version 5, this is the added benefit. So you don't need to go buy a wireless trigger now. You can just use this as well. The only problem I ran into is that if you connect this unit on here, now this obviously must be set to receive because it's receiving a signal from this. So you will use this, turn this to a transmitter. The moment you press the button, when this is set to receive, it's going to get the signal, it's going to fire your flash for you. And there are a bunch of cool features, like holding it down will allow you to go to bulb and all kinds of features. Everything is explained in the booklet. I'm not going to go into too much detail on that. It's going to make this video clip way too long, but there is some ways you can control how you fire it with this button. The only problem I ran into is that if you connect more of these units, like I've got here with the flash, if you fire the camera and you fire the flash at the same time, you'll see everything will go off, but it's not being in sync. So the camera is firing, but it's not picking up the light from the flash. There's workaround ways around it. I'm not going to go into all the details on that, but on this camera, it did not want to fire when I was using this method. I don't know if other cameras might support it. I don't know. But there are other ways you can connect them to get there. But using it this way, which obviously makes the most sense, of having a receiver on here and having 2 flashes with 2 receivers like I've got here on the table. Obviously, if I press the button, it would be very nice if all of them would sync, but that does not work that way. But it's very nice that you've got that on the camera, so you've got an extra remote trigger for your camera. Right, so when we look at the unit further, if I turn it on this side, I'm going to get to a mode dial. Now, I really enjoy this mode dial, and this really pushes this unit to the max of why I would want to use this, is because of the mode dial. Now, on my Pocket Wizards, what I like to do is I have an AC3 controller. It goes on top of the Pocket Wizard, and then I can have groups of flashes. So I can have group A, group B, and group C, and I can have as many flashes I want in each of those groups. Now I can either turn that unit to go to off, or turn it to manual or auto, excuse me, which is gonna be then TTL. Remember, this unit does not support TTL, but the Pocket Wizards does. So I can have full access to which flash I want to have on. I can maybe turn group A off, turn group B on, and turn group C off again. So I can choose which one I want to use. Now they've got a very cool feature in here, and it's called multi-channel triggering. So normally, if you do not use multi-channel, you've got a channel selector here on the side, and you can see, you can actually hear on my mic of this recording, and you can hear it's choosing between the different channels. You've got 16 channels. So normally if you're just shooting with one flash, you can maybe be on channel 8 or 9 or 10 or 1. Preferably not 1, because then you can still trigger other people's units. But if there are people around you working on the same trigger as the version 5s, and you find that maybe either you or they are triggering your units, then just go to maybe channel 8 or 10 or 12 or 16 or whatever, and then you just turn the unit that's like on the flash, you turn that to say channel 16 or 15 or whatever. And then when you fire, it will be on that channel. So you've got 16 options to go to. So if anyone else is using the same system, you know they're not going to set off your flashes. But now when you get to the multi-channel triggering, on this little dial it's got here, number 1 to 5 is blue, and then number 6 to 16 is white. The reason for that is these units can allow you up to 4 different flash channels to run at the same time. So you can have maybe, so I've got 2 flashes. I've got flash A and flash B. Now flash A I've got here, I can put on channel 2. And then flash B, which is here, I can put on channel 3. Now what that does is that when I press this button on here, when I'm on channel 2 on this, only channel 2 will fire. If I'm on channel 3 on this one, only flash B will fire. But if I want both of them to fire, then I just go to channel 1 and it's firing both of them. That's why I said if you're on channel 1, you might trigger other people's units as well. So the number 1 to 5 on this has got those options to choose the different flashes. So it'll be very nice, because maybe you're taking a picture, but you want this light to go off, to turn off. You want light B to not come on, because you want light A to light the person from the side. You want light on this side and silhouette on this side. You don't have to go to your flash and turn it off. You just choose channel 2, which will now set off flash A. If you want to change it around, just go to channel 3. Flash B will fire and flash A will then turn off. Now to show you how that works, I've got here an SB910, and I've got this unit set to receive and channel 2. So if I'm on channel 2, I'm going to go to channel 2 here. Right, if I'm on channel 2, something is not turned on. Here we go. Let's turn this to transmit. So if I'm firing, you'll see that this flash is going off. But I've also got here another flash at SP600, and this one is set to channel 3, just like I explained now, flash B and then flash A there. So this one is set to receive. So now I'm going to hold it like this. Most probably you're not going to see the effect happening on video, because it's tricky to record a flash firing. So if I'm pressing this button, but I can tell you that this flash A, which is there on channel 2, is now firing. Okay. But if I go to channel 3 on this one and I press the button, now the SP600 is firing. Right, there we go. It's firing again, which is now flash B on channel 3, but the flash A is not firing, because I'm choosing which channel I want to activate. So now if I want to see them both, I just go to channel 1, and when I fire, it's firing both of them, and I can see both of them going off. So this is a very awesome feature that I will definitely use if I've got the version 5s on me, because I love to sometimes turn specific flashes on and off to get extra shots in there. So I give that a definitely big thumbs up. Right, then we've now looked at all the sides of the units. Next we can look at the range. Now with the version 4s, I got about a 20 meter odd range, maybe a little more, maybe a little less, depending on where I'm shooting, because if I'm in a house and I've got lots of walls, then obviously you're getting less range. It does go through walls as well. So you can have a flashlight inside a building, stand outside and take a picture, and the flash will go off. Now there was 1 or 2 times that I could not get the lights to go off because I was too far away. So I was using my pocket wizard, and that thing's got a very long range, so that solved the problem. Now the version 5s, they've rated it at 100 meters, and I've seen many people go as far as 200 meters with the version 5s. So that will solve that problem as well. So the range is definitely improved a lot, and no, I think we've basically covered almost everything. We've looked at the units, and we've looked at the things I don't like and the things I do like. So if I have to recap on those, the things I do like is it's a transceiver. I love the way that you can choose which one you want. You've got a safety measure that if something happens to a transmitter, you just take the next unit. I like the hot shoe at the top. I like the selection that you can go between the 16 channels and those 4 channels that you can use as separate to separately set off the flashes or to set them all off at the same time. I think that's an awesome feature. I love the battery compartment that they've got and the use of AAAs, and they're not using funny battery sizes that you basically always got batteries with you. What I don't like I said, is the size. It's really bulky and big, and the build quality is good. I just don't like the way they've made it as big at the side. You can't really fit it nicely to your camera. I think if they spend as much time on the design of it compared to how much time they spent on the unit's functions, which is obviously the most important thing, I think they could have come up with a little better design on the body, but that's not going to make me not use them. I want a unit that works well. Having a unit that's built well, that fits nice on the camera, is just an added benefit, but I'm more looking at what the units can do. So for me, they really perform well. I've tested them out with the remote cable on here. It worked perfectly well with the triggering on that. I triggered flashes with them, no problems. So these units work really, really well. I've also got now a set of laser triggers that's also running on version 5s. I'm going to be shooting a video at a later stage because I still need to find time to test the units out. So with the laser triggers, you can take pictures of water droplets, or if something breaks and you've got the laser trigger there, you can have that set off your camera. I have turned the units on. They were syncing the camera. So what I did was I had this setup like this, and then I had the laser trigger set up as well. So just to inform you about that, I will have a video at a later stage to show you how that works as well. But for me, on the version 5s, awesome little product, and I hope you have lots of fun playing around with them. So please subscribe to the video if you enjoyed it. Leave some comments down below, and also visit the sponsor who gives me all these nice toys to play around with. And then I will see you in the next video.